So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a horizon line, or a rough idea of a horizon line, on my piece of very bright orange paper. And then, just so the drawing started, I'm just going to rub in some random marks onto the page. Now I'm using a big graphite stick, which is going to help me get this kind of covered quite quickly, but you can do the same thing with crayon or with a pencil if you've got one. So it might take you a little bit longer than mine, but hopefully what we're doing is just making the page a little less frightening than it was. Having done that, what we want you to try and do is get a leaf from the garden. Now if I've got this, which is a sycamore leaf, self-seeding in my garden, it's got some quite thick veins on the back of it, and what I want you to do, just think about where that might be positioned in terms of looking a little bit like a tree. Now we're going to take a rubbing of it, we're not going to go to the edges of the leaf. I don't want you to really obviously know that this is a leaf, and we're just going to start rubbing with the side of a pencil to begin to reveal some of the structure that's held within the veins of this leaf. Now with that, let's very quickly start to look a little bit like a tree. And then if you can move that to the side a little bit, and possibly pressing just a little bit lighter or just a little bit differently, you can go and get the second one of those in as well. And then if you slightly pivot it on one point, you can then mimic the leaves or the branches coming out and get some extra lines in there, so it doesn't just become a repeat pattern of the same old tree each time. You could also turn it over so it reflects it. Again, just hold it under there, start to rub away. And after a bit of time, what you may find is you start to get a wee bit of a forest beginning to develop. Now, that was a sycamore. This is a bay tree leaf. I'm going to move the page a little bit. Bring that in. That gives me a very different kind of feel, slightly a small thing, a small kind of leaf shape. Okay, I'm just going to drop that in. See if it starts to make my forest. Obviously the harder the leaf, maybe the better the kind of definition you'll get. And it won't squish against your window like it is on my one. Okay, so that's roughly the idea. I'll take a photograph of this in a moment, but it means you can actually build a kind of landscape with trees in it based on real rubbings from leaves to try and get a forest. So I'll take a photograph in a moment, see what you can come up with yourself. Go for your life, see what you can come up with. So the next few slides are just some of the drawings that I've done over the last couple of days, which are using the same techniques. I have to say, some of them definitely don't work, and then some have quite a nice view. This idea of working on a coloured ground is quite interesting. This one was drawn rubbing onto quite a big twig and a stick and just using those lines to kind of build a kind of wider, fatter trunk, and trying to use all these different techniques just to try and build a tree-like structure. So hopefully that's of use to you. Good luck and enjoy it. Take care. Bye. Work hard. Upload.